The Astros got back to their winning ways this weekend, taking 2 out of 3 games from the Texas Rangers in a 3-game series at Minute Maid Park. The Astros offense also came alive this weekend, scoring at least 8 runs in the 3 games of this weekend series. But despite that, it wasn't a sweep. Why was that the case, you might ask? Well, we're going to break down the series coming up next. Good weekend series for the Astros this weekend against the Rangers. They took 2 out of 3 from them, like I just said at the start of this video. But anyway, let's break down the series. Starting off with game number 1, unfortunately, was the one game in this series that the Astros lost. It added on to a 4-game losing streak for the Astros, which included their sweep of Kansas City last week. Or sweep at Kansas City, I should say. But yeah, the Rangers would score 6 times in the 3rd inning, capped by a 3-run blast by, I believe, Wyatt Langford. I'll have to go back and see who hit it. But and then they would score 4 more in the 6th inning to put up a dozen on the Astros at that point. And the Astros would chip away with 5 runs in the 7th, but despite a pair of home runs from Kyle Tucker, it just was not enough. But honestly, dude, that 6-run 3rd inning honestly proved to be the difference maker. I mean, that 3-run home run was, looking back on it, like, it really wasn't a good pitch that it wasn't like too bad of a pitch that JP France threw to Wyatt Langford. I mean, it was a changeup that was just below his knees, and he just went down and got it. That is in no way JP France's fault. It's just, you're just facing up against a good hitter, and he just went down and got that. And as a pitcher, it's gut punching, but unfortunately for the Astros, that did make some history for them that it's not really something they would want to be a part of, and that they allowed double-digit runs to an opponent in 3 straight games at that point for, I believe, the first time in their franchise history, or if not first time since the 80s, if I recall correctly. So again, tough loss, but honestly, it really should have been a win given the fact that the Astros really made it close, and really they did give themselves a chance. But, but it was the Rangers winning this first game. Anyway, going on to game 2. Ronel Blanco, who continued his dominance in this game, he did allow his first 2 runs of the season, which I would consider a good thing because now he doesn't have to get the added pressure to pitch a shutout game every time he steps on a pitcher's mound. But he continued his dominance in this game as the Astros, but unfortunately he would get a no decision. But the Astros would rally from down 2-0 in the first inning before they even came up to bat, and even straining the bases loaded twice in a span of 3 innings. To win 9-2. The highlight of this was, of course, a 7-run 7th inning to break a 2-2 tie. Altuve, Alvarez, John Singleton, and also Jose Abreu, who hit a double, each had 2 hits apiece. And that double by Abreu that I just mentioned was one of his 2 hits that he got. So that was a sight for sore eyes. But yeah. The 7th run inning was the highlight of this and was able to fuel the Astros to a 9-2 win, knotting the series and setting up a rubber match for Game 3. And in this game, Altuve was the man of the hour today as he tacked on 3 more hits, including 2 home runs, to give him 5 total hits in the 3 games of this series. Chas McCormick, who was also battling a minor hamstring injury, causing him to miss the first 2 games of this series, also had 2 hits, including a 2-run double. Now, the Astros had entered the 9th inning of this game up by 6, and we're hoping to not have to use Josh Hader in this game and possibly save him for our series in Atlanta. But unfortunately, after Marcus Semien hit a 3-run home run to cut that lead in half and make it a little bit interesting, that was when Joe Espada went to his closer to help bail out Seth Martinez, and the Astros would hang on to win this series, to win this game 8-5, taking 2 out of 3 games in the series. So overall, very good series. The offense, of course, appears to have finally found their groove. So again, scoring 8 runs or at least 8 runs, I should say, in all 3 games of this series. So again, it's just that 8 runs in the first game just wasn't enough due to JP France's poor outing. And again, I'm not going to consider it poor, but honestly, Ronel Blanco and Christian Javier have been the 2 best pitchers on this team so far. Framber Valdez certainly is a good 3rd. But again, he's hurt. But real quick though, diving into a couple of injury updates. Justin Verlander had his 2nd minor league rehab start this weekend for AA Corpus Christi, where the AA Corpus Christi Hooks traveled to Frisco, Texas. I don't know who plays there, but although the box score of that rehab start would say otherwise, Justin Verlander did seem like he pitched pretty well. The whole goal of these rehab starts, I think, is to just ensure that the pitcher is throwing them appears to feel good. And I mean, if he pitches a shutout in that game, great. And if not, that's okay. Like that's not the whole purpose of a rehab start. But yeah, the good news is that if all goes well for Justin Verlander, he should be pitching on Friday when the Astros travel to Washington, D.C. to take on the Nats. So fingers are crossed for that. And then diving into another update on Framber Valdez. He did play catch, I believe, at some point last week, and he should be somewhat back to normal within the week or two. I mean, my best guess is that like the minimum 15 days that he's required to spend on the IL before being reactivated is going to be all that he'll need. But who knows whether he's going to be needing a rehab assignment. I mean, that'll be up to his spot on. My best guess is that he won't. But again, after those 15 days are up, we'll see what happens. So next up for the Astros, it's going to be a tough series. We've got the Atlanta Braves coming to town for 3 games before we're going to hit the skies once again. I mean, unfortunately, now we're going to get to the more struggling end of our rotation. We've got Spencer Arrighetti, we've got Hunter Brown, and I do not think the Astros have announced who their third starter is going to be. But I know that Spencer Arrighetti and Hunter Brown will at least be pitching 2 of those games. But we'll see what happens. I mean, the Atlanta Braves have one of the best lineups in baseball. Again, they're my favorites in the NL East right now. So we'll see how this series breaks out. I mean, I'm really hoping it doesn't become a sweep. I mean, if the Astros could get 1 win from this 3-game series, I'll consider that a win. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Drop your thoughts, guys, on how you think this series went. I think it was a good series. Again, a series that really should have been a sweep. But you know, sooner or later, I think the Astros will get their first series sweep of the season, and hopefully also that I'll be able to react to the Astros winning a game, because I don't know if it's the recording curse or something like that. But in the couple of reaction videos that I've done, the Astros have not won either of those games. But yeah, guys, I'll make sure that I have one. I'll make sure that I post one for you guys this week, because I've been a bit slacking on those. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it for this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Go Stros.